Bouncing.
Yeah.
Big serve out wide, and he's got it.
Such a good serve.
And Fergus is correct. No collapse. He does do a little squat. Very different, though. And Sinner doesn't even look mad. He doesn't.
He looks happy.
Yeah, like this is such a great rivalry. Ooh, Nurlan has a good question.
It's a very healthy rivalry.
I don't know, Nurlan, that this has proven that Carlos is the better server than Sinner. I think that it proves that he is a top 5 server in the world, though, which Sinner also is. And you don't see that from a 6-footer very often. Like, typically, it's the taller guys. Look at Alcaraz. He's fired up. I'll tell you this much. If I'm a nightclub in New York City tonight, watch out. We got Donnie T and Alcaraz in town.
Ready. Play.
Does throw in the kicker. Lands the serve on the backhand. Oh, that's a neutral ball, and Felix sends it long. That is a tense shot from Felix. It was a neutral ball. There wasn't too much on it. Second match point. Where does he go? Up the tee again? Up the tee again, sorry. He went wide. Up the tee? How wide? We'll see. Felix goes up. Goes down the tee. Carlos makes the return. And Felix pulls it wide. It is Carlos Alcaraz into his first ever ATP Tour final. ATP Tour Finals final. This in Turin, and he will play Jannik Sinner in the final for a 6th time this year. A big vamos as he shakes hands with Felix. He was way too good today, hitting the forehand so nicely. Felix will feel a little bit upset that he didn't do more with that service game than he felt. I felt that he just got very tense. There are a couple easy misses there. Felix walks off after a great end to the season. We'll end the season for the first time ever in the top 5 after a very good last 3 months ever since that US Open. Carlos is looking very, very good. So, yeah, very solid performance. That first set was completely lights out throughout the entirety of that first set, and the second set was a little closer. Felix felt that he could hold serve more efficiently, but when it really got down to it, Carlos just changing his shoes. When it really got down to it, wasn't able to deal with the pressure. Still looks like Carlos has that bottle of wine next to him, but it's obviously not.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all.
Ready. Play.
I can hear you, yes.
I don't think my audio is too good and my camera doesn't seem to be working. But either way, here I am. Just quickly, Felix. I'm getting confused with Felix. I'm sure you've both got equally good forehands. Fergus, just quickly, just give me a few words on the match tomorrow between Carlos and Jannik. It's the final we all wanted, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the final that everyone wanted and expected. And, as I said, it's the 6th time this year that we're going to have these two in a final. But listen, it's going to be interesting. I think that it will be 3. But, this is Sinner's home. This is one of Sinner's best conditions. You feel like this is probably the toughest he's going to have to face Jannik in a match. And, this is uncharted territory for Carlos. And it will be tough. I don't know. If Carlos plays like he did in that first set against Felix today, I feel like it would be a very entertaining matchup. And we know that these two bring the best out of each other consistently. But having it in Turin, indoor, Jannik was 29 in a row wins.
Yeah, maybe 30 now. It might be 30, Fergus.
Yeah, but for me, it's a real 55-45.
But Jannik's favourite, right? 55 for
Jannik's
Jannik.
Yeah, 55-45 Jannik at a push. But this is like as tight as it gets. With how well Carlos has been playing, you know, the pressure of year-end number one is now lifted off of him. This is, you know, last match of the year for both of them because neither of them are playing Davis Cup. So, you know, this is a last chance to go out and...
Is Carlos not playing Davis Cup? Is that something new?
I just didn't think he was playing, or maybe I'm...
No, I think he is. I think unless something's changed, I think he is. Yeah, he's going for full on.
Maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah, don't worry.
Oh no, it is Carlos. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Carlos.
I mean, it's probably a bit too late for him to change his mind, and he would have always factored in a good run in Turin in terms of him committing to it. I'm almost certain that he won't play any tournament before Australia. But
he was just saying how, you know, we're not thinking that he's not going to have any tournaments before the AO in either like Adelaide or, you know, Hong Kong or Auckland or anything like that. So, you know, it's more of a, you know, 8 weeks for Carlos to have a break and then hit it hard at the AO, the one slam that he's never even made the semi-finals of. But yeah, for Jannik, it will be his last match of the year tomorrow. Not playing Davis Cup, already announced that one.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Sinner, where are you going to go with this serve? Down the tee, maybe? Yes. It's a good serve down the tee, but Alex does well. Oh, but it's a lovely serve +1. He points to his team, clenches his fist, hits the remaining ball that he has in his pocket away because it was a first serve that got the job done largely. Minaur and Sinner for the third time in, I don't know, feels like 5 weeks or so, exchanges at the net. And the result is the same as the two previous matches in Beijing and Vienna, albeit that one in Beijing was 3 sets. This one was straight sets. 13-0 now, Jannik Sinner leads the head-to-head. And in those 13 matches, he's lost just 3 sets, James.
Jesus. It's becoming a bit of a Djokovic-Monfils sort of situation, that head-to-head.
I mean, it's kind of worse. At least Monfils had chances, but, you know, match points, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's bizarre how one-sided that head-to-head is. So, you know, it's just because of how, you know, you would have thought that, you know, that period, you know, 21, 22, when Sinner was just still, you know, trying to find his feet, that Minaur may have been able to squeak the victory here or there, but it is remarkable just how much in that matchup where, you know, bigger hitters have been thwarted by de Minaur, that Sinner just has his number completely locked down.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right in terms of...
It's certainly, but, you got to give de Minaur his credit. He gets to,
in terms of the fact that you'd have thought that Jannik would have maybe lost one or two of their earlier encounters, but it has all gone his way. He's going to write something on the camera here, but it's almost certainly going to be in Italian, obviously, in his homeland right now. So, well, I think it's quite easy to understand that. Final, basically. Here we go. And Jannik is indeed there for the third time in a row.
Finale. Yeah, I mean, third year in a row. I mean, certainly the Italian authority, when they went to buy this event, couldn't have probably dreamed of anything better for the last 3 years than to have an Italian in the final for each of those ones. It has been, just another remarkable run from Sinner. But again, what's something that feels very routine. He doesn't feel troubled. He hasn't dropped a set this week so far. Didn't drop a set at all. In Paris, it's a hard court under his feet and a roof over his head, and he is unstoppable.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to have a quick look at the stats before we bring this stream to an end. They've just popped up on my screen. We've got 30 winners from Jannik Sinner to 22 unforced errors. Feels like every time I see his winners to unforced errors ratio, it's always very favourable in the winners category. De Minaur, less favourable today, 21 winners to the 26 unforced errors. Let's have a quick look at the serving stats before we, as I say, bring this show to a close. Here we go. Got the serving stats here, which were Jannik Sinner winning 84% on first serves. De Minaur is a little underpowered in that department and was only winning 45% on his second serves. And actually, probably, I think there's one thing that maybe Alex could have and should have done better now looking at this. It's just 52% of his first serves in. If he ups that to what would be a normal 60 to 70%, then he's probably making this a little closer, even if I think the results still would have gone the same way. It is, I talk about these two being quite similar in some ways, having a similar makeup in terms of tennis qualities, and de Minaur being just a little bit worse in every department. But I also mentioned in the preview that the one area where Jannik is maybe a lot further ahead than Alex is in the serving capacity. That is also borne out by those stats. Just final words on anything I've just said, or even this match as a whole.
I think the only real words are saying it's as expected, and it leaves now the big question, which is, are we going to get Alcaraz for the final time this year?
Yeah, possibly, probably. I just don't know with Alcaraz. It's a little bit less easy to be convinced by him on all surfaces, but especially indoor hard.
Yeah. I mean, for me now, I came into this match, I came into today really hoping of either one or two scenarios. We either get Alcaraz as the final, or we either get de Minaur versus Felix as the final. Mainly because that's the only way I think those two matches or the final could be competitive if either of those two scenarios took out. But at the moment, there's only one of those scenarios which are left. I fear if it's Felix in the final, it would just be Paris and the group stages repeated again. But let's see what happens this evening.
This match at least was very much a match until we got to 5-all in the first set. De Minaur having chances on the Jannik serve, none more so than when he got to love 40 at the beginning of the match on the Jannik serve, but wasn't able to break. And then it was nip and tuck until 5-all, and then the break comes for Jannik, and that was really the match as Jannik raced into a 4-love lead. De Minaur, a little riposte from him at 4-love. He gets that hold where he's sort of pleased to at least get on the board. He then does threaten to break the Jannik serve, but doesn't do so, and there was the match. So Jannik Sinner, just to confirm, is into his third ATP Tour Finals in a row. The first one he lost, the second one he won. Will he win tomorrow? Well, do join us for the watch along, both tomorrow, but also later on this evening as well for the second semi-final. Big thanks, James, for your efforts today.
Thanks so much, John. Thanks for popping on many points as well.
No problem at all. And for the rest of you, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
Does throw in the kicker. Lands the serve on the backhand. Oh, that's a neutral ball, and Felix sends it long. That is a tense shot from Felix. It was a neutral ball. There wasn't too much on it. Second match point. Where does he go? Up the tee again? Up the tee again. Sorry, he went wide. Up the tee. How wide? We'll see. Felix goes up. Goes down the tee. Carlos makes the return. And Felix pulls it wide. It is Carlos Alcaraz into his first ever ATP Tour final. ATP Tour Finals final. This in Turin. And he will play Jannik Sinner in the final for a sixth time this year. A big vamos as he shakes hands with Felix. He was way too good today, hitting the forehand so nicely. Felix will feel a little bit upset that he didn't do more with that service game than he felt. I felt he just got very tense. There are a couple easy misses there. Felix walks off after a great end to this season. We'll end the season for the first time ever in the top 5 after a very good last 3 months ever since that US Open. Carlos is looking very, very good. So, yeah, very solid performance. That first set was completely lights out throughout the entirety of that first set. And the second set was a little closer. Felix felt that he could hold serve more efficiently. But, when it really got down to it, Carlos just changing his shoes. When it really got down to it, wasn't able to, deal with the pressure. Still looks like Carlos has that bottle of wine next to him, but it's obviously not.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
I can hear you, yes.
I don't think my audio is too good, and my camera doesn't seem to be working. But either way, here I am. Just quickly, Felix. I'm getting confused with Felix. I'm sure you've both got equally good forehands. Fergus, just quickly, just give me a few words on the match tomorrow between Carlos and Jannik. It's the final we all wanted, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the final that everyone wanted and expected. And, as I said, it's the 6th time this year that we're going to have these two in a final. But listen, it's going to be interesting. I think that it will be 3. But, this is Sinner's home. This is Sinner's, one of Sinner's best conditions. You feel like this is probably the toughest he's going to have to face Jannik in a match. And, this is uncharted territory for Carlos. And it will be tough. I don't know. If Carlos plays like he did in that first set against Felix today, I feel like it will be a very entertaining matchup. And we know that these two bring the best out of each other consistently. But having it in Turin, indoor, Jannik, is 29 in a row wins?
Yeah, maybe 30 now. It might be 30, Fergus.
Yeah, but for me, it's a real 55-45.
But Jannik's the favourite, right? 55 for
Jannik.
Jannik.
Yeah, 55-45 Jannik at a push. But this is as tight as it gets. With how well Carlos has been playing, he's the pressure of year-end number 1 is now lifted off of him. This is, last match of the year for both of them because neither of them are playing Davis Cup. So, this is a last chance to go out and...
Is Carlos not playing Davis Cup? Is that something new?
I just didn't think he was playing, or maybe I'm...
No, I think he is. I think unless something's changed, I think he is. Yeah, he's going for full on.
Or maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah, don't worry.
No, it is Carlos. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Carlos.
I mean, it's probably a bit too late for him to change his mind, and he would have always factored in a good run in Turin in terms of him committing to it. I'm almost certain that he won't play any tournament before Australia.
But he was just saying how we're not thinking that he's not going to have any tournaments before the AO in either like Adelaide or Hong Kong or Auckland or anything like that. So it's more of a 8 weeks for Carlos to have a break and then hit it hard at the AO, the one slam that he's never even made the semi-finals of. But yeah, for Jannik, it will be his last match of the year tomorrow. Not playing Davis Cup, already announced that one.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Does throw in the kicker. Lands the serve on the backhand. Oh, that's a neutral ball, and Felix sends it long. That is it's a tense shot from Felix. It was a neutral ball. There wasn't too much on it. Second match point. Where does he go? Up the tee again? Up the tee again, sorry. He went wide. Up the tee. How wide? We'll see. Felix goes up. Goes down the tee. Carlos makes the return. And Felix pulls it wide. It is Carlos Alcaraz into his first ever ATP Tour final. ATP Tour Finals final. This in Turin. And he will play Jannik Sinner in the final for a 6th time this year. A big vamos as he shakes hands with Felix. He was way too good today, hitting the forehand so nicely. Felix will feel a little bit upset that he didn't do more with that service game than he felt. I felt he just got very tense. There are a couple easy misses there. Felix walks off after a great end to the season. We'll end the season for the first time ever in the top 5. After a very good last 3 months ever since that US Open. Carlos is looking very, very good. So, yeah, very solid performance. That first set was completely lights out throughout the entirety of that first set. And the second set was a little closer. Felix felt that he could hold serve more efficiently. But, when it really got down to it, Carlos just changing his shoes. When it really got down to it, wasn't able to, deal with the pressure. Still looks like Carlos has that bottle of wine next to him, but it's obviously not.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. So where are you going to go with this serve? Down the tee, maybe? Yes. It's a good serve down the tee, but Alex does well. Oh, but it's a lovely serve +1. He points to his team, clenches his fist, hits the remaining ball that he has in his pocket away because it was a first serve that got the job done largely. Minaur and Sinner
for the third time in, don't know, feels like 5 weeks or so. Exchanges at the net, and the result is the same as the two previous matches in Beijing and Vienna, albeit that one in Beijing was 3 sets. This one was straight sets. 13-0 now, Jannik Sinner leads the head-to-head. And in those 13 matches, he's lost just 3 sets, James.
Jesus. It's becoming a bit of a Djokovic Monfils sort of situation, that head-to-head.
I mean, it's kind of worse. At least Monfils had chances, but, match points, etc.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's bizarre how one-sided that head-to-head is. So, just because of how, you would have thought that, that period, 21, 22, when Sinner was just still, trying to find his feet, that de Minaur may have been able to squeak the victory here or there. But it is remarkable just how much in that matchup where, bigger hitters have been thwarted by de Minaur, that Sinner just has his number completely locked down.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right in terms of...
It's certainly, but, you got to give de Minaur his credit. He gets to,
in terms of the fact that you'd have thought that Jannik would have maybe lost 1 or 2 of their earlier encounters, but it has all gone his way. He's going to write something on the camera here, but it's almost certainly going to be in Italian, obviously, in his homeland right now. So, well, I think it's quite easy to understand that. Final, basically. Here we go. And Jannik is indeed there for the 3rd time in a row.
Finale. Yeah, I mean, third year in a row. I mean, certainly the Italian authority, when they went to buy this event, couldn't have probably dreamed of anything better for the last 3 years than to have an Italian in the final for each of those ones. It has been, just another remarkable run from Sinner. But again, what's something that feels very routine. He doesn't feel troubled. He hasn't dropped a set this week so far. Didn't drop a set at all. In Paris, it's a hard court under his feet and a roof over his head, and he is unstoppable.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to have a quick look at the stats before we bring this stream to an end. They've just popped up on my screen. We've got 30 winners from Jannik Sinner to 22 unforced errors. Feels like every time I see his winners to unforced errors ratio, it's always very favorable in the winners category. De Minaur, less favorable today, 21 winners to the 26 unforced errors. Let's have a quick look at the serving stats before we, as I say, bring this show to a close. Here we go. Got the serving stats here, which were Jannik Sinner winning 84% on first serves. De Minaur is a little underpowered in that department and was only winning 45% on his second serves. And actually, probably, I think there's one thing that maybe Alex could have and should have done better now looking at this. It's just 52% of his first serves in. If he ups that to what would be a normal 60 to 70%, then he's probably making this a little closer, even if I think the results still would have gone the same way. It is, I talk about these two being quite similar in some ways, having a similar makeup in terms of tennis qualities, and de Minaur being just a little bit worse in every department. But I also mentioned in the preview that the one area where Jannik is maybe a lot further ahead than Alex is in the serving capacity. That is also borne out by those stats. Just final words on anything I've just said, or even this match as a whole.
I think the only real words are saying it's as expected, and it leaves now the big question, which is, are we going to get Alcaraz for the final time this year?
Yeah, possibly, probably. I just don't know with Alcaraz. It's a little bit less easy to be convinced by him on all surfaces, but especially indoor hard.
Yeah. I mean, for me now, I came into this match, I came into today really hoping of either one or two scenarios. We either get Alcaraz as the final, or we either get de Minaur versus Felix as the final. Mainly because that's the only way I think those two matches or the final could be competitive if either of those two scenarios took out. But at the moment, there's only one of those scenarios which are left. I fear if it's Felix in the final, it would just be Paris and the group stages repeated again. But
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello, it's only myself. So how are we doing? It all comes down to this. I hope we're going to get rid of that big, massive timer that's ugly. I'm sure we'll have a scoreboard at some point from the illustrator. There we go. That's a much better graphic. That one looked like, when you've got your computer monitor and you're doing the brightness setting. That timer, yeah, was as we say here in Scotland, beast. Anyway, it all comes down to this. We are watching the ATP Finals final between the big two, the new two, Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. I'm going to be on my lonesome for the first. Oh, is that me, Mr. Diaz Acosta? Quick predictions. How does this person know that my predictions about Diaz Acosta? Anyway, okay. Quick predictions off the top of my head. I am firmly going to plant my flag and say that Carlos will win it in 3, and I think he'll take it. But Jannik Sinner, of course, hasn't lost here in 2 years. I think he hasn't lost indoor for what, 50? I'm looking at it. So he's got a 9-match winning streak here, 30 matches, and he's 18 to 11 sets here for the last 2 years. So third final in a row. Jannik Sinner's won the toss, by the way. So he's receiving. He's chosen to receive. So I'll say Carlos in 3 just before we get going. Loads of stats and figures. I suppose the slight shine's been taken off it. We're not having a world number 1 match off. But it is the first time, I think since 2016, that the world number 1 and number 2, that of course was Djokovic and Andy Murray. So yeah, I think a lot of people, I know John, I was watching John last night just in the pre-match video there, talking about Carlos, being still a bit unsure on every surface, he said. Now I would agree with him when he was talking about the indoor game, but hopefully his performance against Felix Auger-Aliassime last night has maybe made John question his own life choices in that. But anyway, we'll get going. As I always say, I've not done a stream for a while, but as I always say, and I will caveat it, I will talk with anything that anybody is watching and wants to fling my way in terms of discussion points. I will throw in the odd point in case there is somebody either maybe listening to it, not watching the actual match. I'm sure plenty of you guys will be watching the match. This is the big one, certainly for all tennis fans. The one we kind of wanted to see, although again, John and others in the chat were talking about preferring to see this one as a semi-final match. Again, I don't know where they're going with that one. Anyway, let's go. So Carlos 30-15, just slightly ahead of. There we go. Scoreboard has caught up. Thought he was. I only saw glimpses and bits of his match last night. I was watching Scotland versus Greece. For any Scotland fans out there, we're still in it. We've been given a second chance at home to the Danes on Tuesday because Belarus managed to get a draw with Denmark. But this is a tennis stream, so I will keep it to tennis. Carlos has 2 game points after a second serve was a little bit wayward. What I've noticed about Jannik, he does. Hey Ghost, how we doing? What's good with you, my man? Aye, Andy Robbo, you're not going to find a fan here who's not the biggest Robbo fan in the world. Yes, he's aging, but to come back into the Liverpool team, playing well in that team, and he's a captain. He crossed for the second goal last night. His cross was pinpoint, bang on, just like Carlos has been in this first game. He takes it 40-15, and the players go for a quick blast off their energy drink or water. Yeah, I thought Jannik started slow against Alex de Minaur, of course, in the semi-final. Watched that one. De Minaur had 3 break points early on. I know that Zverev had a lot of break points against him in his final round robin match. I think 7 in one of the sets, and he pulled out the big serves going down the tee. So we'll keep an eye for where he's under pressure on serve. Will he go to that tee serve? Will Carlos know that? And will he take advantage? But yeah, I think Carlos is just playing on another level, and he you can see how much they getting that world number one. It's taking the pressure off him a bit, and I think he'll be keen to. Yes, he's a Ouija like myself. I think the Castlemilk area, Castlemilk in Glasgow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. So Jannik Sinner to serve, love one down. Really, the first rally of the match, we're doing forehand to forehand, but Carlos hits in the net. It's probably the first rally over about 3 or 4 shots there. We all know about these guys. Past Carlos leading at 10-5. Easy for me to say, get my teeth in. 10-5. No, I'm neither, Brazy. I am neither. I'm actually, my old man was from Falkirk. So he raised me, although I stay and was born in Glasgow. He brought me up. It was like, you're not supporting that Rangers or Celtic, you're supporting Falkirk. So I followed in his footsteps. So I'm a Falkirk fan. Big Scotland fan though. Was in Germany last year for the Euros. So second serve, Sinner. Carlos played the ball right to feet. Sinner just had to pick it up from his feet. Carlos again will be disappointed in that when he had the whole court to aim for, plenty of time, and he hits his second net ball off this game. So it's 30-love to Jannik Sinner. Yeah, of course, the last few meetings, I thought, going back to Wimbledon, I much fancied Carlos because of his 2 previous victories, of course, over Novak Djokovic in that final. But I thought Jannik Sinner was very impressive there, and I thought maybe this is a turning of the momentum in this head-to-head. He's going to maybe dominate this for the next few matches. I think Carlos has then went away after that match, and he's studied the game. He's changed it up. He's changed his game. He's improved the serve because he didn't get enough free points in that Wimbledon final, which he obviously needs in his serve. So I think Carlos went away. Of course, they had that Cincinnati retirement. Can't read too much into that, but Carlos was dominating that match. But of course, Jannik wasn't fully fit. But I thought the telling one was US Open. Now, again, we can question whether or not we had a all guns blazing Jannik Sinner for any Sinner fans. I know Greg, being one of them, will defend Jannik and maybe say that he was toiling a bit. But I thought Carlos, again, game plan was exquisite to a T in that one, and that kind of got my hope that he wasn't going to be dominated in this head-to-head. But things are in this one for Jannik Sinner. He's got the home crowd in his side. That will make a difference in the bigger moments. I'm sure Carlos's team has got him ready for those big pressure moments where shouts might come on a second serve or when he's waiting to unload in a second serve. He's going to have to deal with it and just block it out, ignore. He gets the same when he's in Madrid and he's playing Jannik Sinner. So he's got to ignore that, move on, and just and face that crowd. And also, we know that Carlos has had difficulties indoor. I think he's a player who's adapting. He's getting better indoor. We saw with his win in Rotterdam this year that he can win titles indoor. But we are at 1-0, as you can see. Jannik just going wide there with a backhand. He tried to go up the line, tried to wrong foot Carlos. So we're just going with serve. Not much pressure put in either man's serve so far. I can give you those stats if you give me a second, Brazy, about players spent most time on court. Surely it's got to be Carlos because he was a set down to Taylor Fritz, was he not? So it'll surely be. He went deep into a tiebreaker with Musetti, I think, in the first set, and then obviously Musetti fell away a bit. But I think that was I think that was the best point of the match from Carlos there. Yeah, he was on the run. Jannik Sinner had got him on the run, and it was a forehand winner. There we go. Ghost has just got that one. What a winner from Carlos. I think it's probably better if I just stop talking. So I'll commentate the next few because Carlos seems to be hotting up 30-love on his serve. And I'll get you that stat, Brazy. I think they'd give me the stat in the ATP media notes, but nothing that's jumping out. So maybe I won't give you that. I would say you're probably going to go Carlos. Again, just because the 3-setter. Of course, Jannik Sinner hasn't lost a set in 2 years here. 18 in a row. And it's 2-1. Of course, I mean, the more pertinent question surely would be, what man other than named Jannik or Carlos has beaten the other? I think we're talking for Jannik Sinner was Halle. Was it Bublik and Halle on the grass just before Wimbledon was the last time anyone beat Jannik. Of course, Carlos, I think, lost in Paris, didn't he? Paris-Bercy indoors. Or maybe it's not Paris indoors now, isn't it? He's dressed like Minaur, isn't he? Minaur at the start of the year at the United Cup. Good spot, Brazy. I like you, mate. I like you. Where are you from, Brazy? I don't think we've interacted on this stream before. Of course, talking tennis. Having a wee shandy after passing the 20,000 subscribers mark. We're on 20,105 at the moment. If you haven't already, you need to join the tribe, join the clan, unite the clans. So the players are sitting down for a changeover at the moment. Let's go through some of any of the key stats that you might they might just add a little bit of intrigue. Of course, Jannik Sinner playing his third consecutive final here at the Alpe Arena, hoping to extend his 9-match winning streak. As I said, 18-0 in sets. Carlos leading at 10-5, including 7-1 since the start of 2024. Of course, that one coming at Wimbledon. Nice one, Brazy. So you're an American. I hope you can understand. I have been told to slow down a little bit sometimes in terms of trying to transgress that Atlantic Ocean difference in tone and ear. Queens, New York. Okay, I've been to Queens, been to Brooklyn many years ago. Loved New York. Went at Christmas 2017, I think. Loved it. Very cold though. Thought I was a hard Scottish man who could handle the winter. Got to New York in December. Oof, snowing. It's like a different cold from here. Okay. Jannik Sinner, 15-love. 10 minutes gone. Down the tee. There we go. Jannik Sinner loves that serve. Sinner down the tee for a first serve. Ace. As John pointed out, Jannik Sinner on a 30-match winning streak on indoor hard courts since losing to Djokovic in the 2023 final here in Turin. And he aims to become the youngest man to defend the title since Roger Federer, who was 23 in 2003 and 2004. He's just gone wide with a +1, so it's 30-15. Sinner becoming the second man to reach the final of the tournament without dropping a set since the ATP Tour statistics began in 91. That was Djokovic in 2018, and he could join McEnroe, 3 in New York, and Becker, 2 in Frankfurt, as the only men to win multiple ATP final championships on their home soil. Interesting, that one. Like that one. Of course, this will be Jannik Sinner's last match of the year. He's not going to play the Davis Cup. Yeah, Carlos Alcaraz at the moment, I think he is keen to play that. Top of a momentous year. Putting a bit of pressure now on the Sinner serve. Sinner again went long. He's really the only man right now who can cause this guy any problems, isn't he, Carlos? Yeah. I think Carlos's tactic is get the ball, get rallying, set it up, But the danger of that is Sinner's just so good, so consistent, he can go all day. A bit like you, Ghost. Second serve again. Against not much intensity on the return by Carlos, and Jannik's in charge of this rally. It's good defence by Carlos Alcaraz. He's now on the backhand. The ball's a bit more neutral now, and Carlos now seems to be dictating it. It's now Sinner on the defensive, gets it deep, forehand to forehand. Carlos probably about 3 shots before didn't take advantage of the loopier ball. He hits the top of the net and it goes wide. That's a missed opportunity for Carlos Alcaraz to try and get himself a break point. I've heard about you at night, Ghost. I've heard the stories. As I say, in my opinion, a missed opportunity for Carlos Alcaraz there. And not an ace. That looked close. Went out wide this time. Of course, Carlos thinking maybe it'll go down the tee. And it's a double fault. Double fault, so we're on to deuce. Just back from playing, I'm sorry, tennis fans, I'm just back from playing paddle this afternoon. And of course, on deuce and paddle, we have opted to play the golden point. So, of course, they don't play that in tennis, but it just keeps our matches flowing a little bit quicker. Okay, now there's something happening in the crowd. Carlos has stopped play. He's looking up into the crowd. Now the umpire's involved. I don't know if we've got a medical emergency here. Sinner has come over to get a bit of water. Now we might have a delay in play here. Just going to listen out, see what's happening. I think we... Okay, yeah, I think we've got a medical emergency in the crowd here, so... So not good. Yeah, they're hearing that I think medical staff are on the scene quickly. So, Brazy, just to answer your earlier question there, in terms of paddle, yeah, you can, yeah. That was only my 5th or 6th game today. And yeah, getting better. But yeah, you can do the old, if it goes over the court, out of the court, you can, if you've got that. I mean, it's never happened. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. But yes, that is an option should you be forced out of the court. Hey, Ashley, how are we doing? Good day to you. So hopefully we get this resolved so far. Big point. Carlos has just dropped his racket after pretending he was in a marching band and swinging the baton. Yeah, most of the paddle courts are made of glass, but then as you come into the net, there's a small section of like wire fence, and that does play a part in the dynamics of the because you know if it's going to hit the glass wall, you can kind of try and judge where the ball is going to rebound off the glass wall. Whereas with a wire fence, if it bounces and hits the wire fence, it's still in play. You have to try and figure out where the ball is going to go. And much like maybe like a rugby ball dropping, because of its egg shape, you don't know where that's going to bounce. and it's similar to the wire fence. No, the rules are bang on the same as tennis. The same scoring system as tennis. Second serves, the serve you have to bounce and then underarm serve it. But it's the exact same as tennis. You know, you can double fault, you have to serve into the service box. Exact same scoring system. Serve for the juice courts first. Yeah. So me and my partner today were lost the first set 7-5, lost the second set 6-3. Then we were 5-1 up, and the hour was coming up to an end, and we kept shooting our set points into the wall, so that's out. And so we had another set point at 5-3, and then the next folk on at 4 o'clock, they shunted us off the court and said, "Here, move it." So we couldn't see out that set. Okay, again, John earning these big bucks and letting us know that there is an issue with a fan in the crowd. Interesting about some of the play I was seeing from the shot quality scores of Alcaraz last night against Felix Auger-Aliassime in his semi-final. His serve was an 8.5, return was a 9.5, his forehand was a 9.6, and his backhand was a 9.5. If he can bring that level, got to say, I don't think Jannik Sinner can compete with that. I know Jannik Sinner is, you know, he's a generational talent, but that quality. Because it was my partner in the sense of my doubles partner at paddle. It's not my life partner. So we've been stop and play for about 6 or 7 minutes now. I don't know if it gets to a threshold where they have to maybe let the players, you know, go away and maybe warm up again. I don't know. Somebody who's more clued up in the sports science would be able to tell me that. I mentioned John talking about, you know, are we still unsure about Carlos? Like, you know, you can go into a match with Jannik Sinner and you kind of pretty know, you know, you've got a 90% that Jannik Sinner's going to win the match, 10% that somehow, maybe even 95. Like I say, last time he's been beaten by any other player not named Carlos was at Halle by Alexander Bublik, and that was what, June? We're now coming mid-November. So, is it true that you know Carlos is going into matches and you're maybe not as certain that he will win that? I mean, as I've got to say, John mentioned that ahead of the Felix Auger-Aliassime match when they were talking about the semi-finals, and are we going to get a Carlos Sinner final? But I mean, I didn't watch the Alcaraz match last night because I was watching the football, but I was watching bits and bobs of like posts on Twitter, and it seemed like he found another level. Okay, I mean the just a couple of statage where we wait. Saw one last night in the ATP Finals. This will be the 18th big title won by Alcaraz or Sinner in the last 2 years, which is a very rare 2-year duopoly. The biggest 2 years duo is actually Djokovic and Andy Murray in 2015-16, where they won 24 big titles. Federer and Nadal had 22 in 05 and 06. And Djokovic and Nadal had 20 in 12 and 13 and 13-14. So they had 40 titles between the two of them across 3 years. 2 years. 2 years. I don't know why he's done like 12, 13. Oh, no, sorry, he done it twice. 20 titles in 2013, 12 and 13, and 20 titles in 13 and 14. Aye, so I was right. 3 years, 12, 13 and 14. If we get to a second set, I mean, we don't know what ways this is going to go. I mean, I'm sure they will resume play at some point, but as Brazy has mentioned, like, will there be another warm-up? Will they have to go away? Maybe do the bike, get the legs moving again? Jannik at the moment is, doing a bit of squatting, stretching away. It's a shame. This is, as the guys have pointed out, we wonder why this has been, an eventuality this week. Like, why has this been happening on a couple of occasions? Of course, one inside the stadium at the start of the week and one outside the stadium. Somebody sadly passed away. Carlos at the moment doing a couple of big kicks. I think he thinks they might get going again. Sinner now more or less doing similar actions. But you never like to see this in tennis. Pivotal moment as well, just on the Sinner serve. I wonder if this will have a factor in terms of, the momentum seemed to be going Carlos's way. Will that be a bit of a reset when they get going again? There's a bit of applause from the crowd, so I think. No, I'm okay. Yeah, the crowd are clapping now, so they'll be getting going again. So it's been 11 minutes since the last point, but I think we're good to go. Sinner's got a couple of balls in hand, and he's just taken receipt of a third. So 11 minutes we were off for. Where will he go? Will he go out wide? He's going out wide, isn't he? No, he goes down the tee, but doesn't find the spot, hits the net. Second serve, Carlos. He was stepping in earlier in the week. Good second serve, though, right at the body. Players are rallying at the moment. It's a mishitted backhand by Carlos, which allows Sinner to pop it up, and he's going to put this away. No, great defence by Carlos. He's going to get there a third time. No, he's not. Jannik Sinner fist pumps the air, and he's got advantage. Great defence by Carlos. I mean, he's never properly away, but massive point there. Alcaraz, of course, leading the ATP Tour this year in terms of wins and titles. 71 wins, wow, and 8 titles. As Sinner goes down the tee for the ace and wraps up what could have been a tricky game. Alcaraz on a 56-4 run since the start of April, reaching the final of 10 of the last 11 tournaments played. I think we're talking Paris, aren't we? The only one that's not, and that's why the doubters say about his indoor game. But hopefully he can prove them wrong tonight. Just saying it from an Alcaraz fan point of view. Good first serve. 1-2. There we go. Out wide, +1 to the other side of the court. 15 love. Carlos tries to go down the tee. Just misses the mark. Right at the feet of Carlos. Great return by Sinner, and that gives him the impetus in the rally, so much so that Carlos can only find the net. It looks like the momentum has shifted again, and we're now Jannik Sinner in the ascendancy. Two massive names in the game. World number 1 and number 2. Good serve by Carlos, but it's well retrieved. Great defence by Sinner as a block return. But it seems to be Carlos and just ahead in the rally, but he's just had another wild backhand. I don't know what happened there. He hasn't started since the restart. He's not really got back into it. Again, I said that the momentum was all with Carlos before that interruption. That's just not a reaction that Alcaraz is used to. 15-30. Hey, Super Dave, how we doing? Second serve. Jannik doesn't come in at all. Still hugging the baseline. Carlos will go down the tee here. No, he doesn't. He goes out wide. Picked up quickly by Jannik Sinner. Taken nice and early. Carlos now does seem to have the edge in this rally. Goes up the line with a great forehand, and it's really good point by Carlos. It couldn't be returned by Jannik Sinner. It's that one where he sets it up, doesn't he? He knows what he's doing 3 or 4 shots before. It's that one up the line that gets the players running. They find it hard to get any purchase on the ball back over the net, as proven there by Jannik Sinner. So there you go. It's going to be a tight first set, this, isn't it? It's going to be decided in a couple of points. Second serve right to the body, and the return by Sinner just out. Carlos punching the air there. I think he was glad to see that one just drift long, because Jannik Sinner was coming in for that +2, and just to put him away, he was in the mid-court. Game point, Carlos. Big game this. This will be a big hold. He was under a wee bit of pressure. Good first serve down the tee. Jannik Sinner gets it back, and Carlos has seen the ball small at the moment. He just hits it into the net on the +1. Jannik Sinner's just come through a juice game. Can Carlos Alcaraz? 5 forehand errors by Carlos already. Served into the body. Back to where it came from by Carlos and Jannik Sinner. They're just doing forehand to forehand cross court at the moment. Jannik Sinner goes down the line. Backhand by Carlos. Backhand by Sinner down the line. Carlos is on the run. He's looked up his forehand return. Ball's neutral now. Backhand by Sinner. Backhand by Alcaraz, and it's caught the line, and he's punching the air. Caught the corner of the line. Needed that. Lovely. Wasn't powerful. It was placed. I think his heart was skipping a beat just at the end there, but it just came down, caught the line, and he grits his teeth. Shows how much he wants this. There's not much on the line other, but he wants to be the ATP Finals title. He wants to be the man to stop this run from Jannik Sinner. First serve's a let. Yeah, good to see you too, Dave. I remember when you were on it, I think one of your early jaunts into the stream, I think I was covering. And Carlos wraps it up after Jannik Sinner goes long. 3-2 as the players sit down. Still not a break point in this match so far. So, interesting stat, Carlos Alcaraz bidding to become the first Spaniard to win the title since 1998. Of course, Rafa Nadal famously never won it. 1998 was 5 years before Carlos was even born. So I'm wondering, and this is coming from somebody who actually doesn't know, who would have that player have been in 1998 that won the ATP Finals? The Spaniard. Anyone any guesses? Is everyone going to be Googling it? That's cheating. 1998.
Lexus presents tennis on Sky Sports.
Well, there we go. There's an Italian flag, but there's also a Carlos Alcaraz supporter. They might want to keep their head down.
Was it Krejci? Crazy? Is that saying it from that's who it was, or are you question marking it like Ghosty is? So I think we're going with Alex Krejci as the Spaniard who last won the ATP final. So good knowledge, Brady. Hats off to you, fella. Carlos gets that back. Oh, he's not done enough with the volley. Carlos, why did you go for the lob? Strange point there. So good serve by Jannik Sinner. Defensive return by Carlos. Jannik Sinner, great +1. Put Carlos in trouble on the stretch. Carlos got it back. Sinner didn't do enough with the volley. Had Carlos back in the rally, but instead of just drilling it down the line to an open court, Sinner was never getting that. And that's sometimes Carlos, because he's got all the shots in his toolbox, his decision making for me sometimes. Yeah, I agree, Dave. I was saying that earlier on. I think after Wimbledon, I think he went away and just worked on that serve. And he's reaping the rewards now. You know, he's had a great second half of the year. I mean, he had a great start to the year, but he's been really relentless. That one looked out. Yeah, it was. Might be wrong, but and they'll show us the stats at some point. John might, you know, hopefully he's still producing. But I wonder, you know, how many points over a certain amount of, like say over a 9-shot rally, how many? Because I'm erring towards saying that Carlos is getting the better of these longer rallies. Good first serve, out wide. Sinner then gets it. I mean, Carlos got it back. Sinner then went back to where Carlos had just been, and Carlos couldn't get his feet sorted in time. It's 30-15. Yeah, good point by Sinner. He put it out wide, put the serve out wide, and just Carlos stayed where he was, and he just knocked it away. 40-15. I'm actually now seeing it. The 1998 Spanish winner. It was Krejci, But it was Carlos Moya he beat. So it was 2 Spaniards in the final that year. And he beat his compatriot to win the ATP final. So, yeah, all Spanish final back then. Sinner dominating the rallies a little bit more now as he takes that game. A lot of defence by Alcaraz. In terms of the Spanish one, is just to stay on this thread for a couple more minutes as the players sit down. So Correia beat Carlos Moya in 98. Juan Carlos Ferrero was in the ATP final match in 2002, but he lost to Leighton Hewitt. David Ferrer was in the final match in 2007, lost to Roger Federer. Nadal, 2010, lost to Federer. Nadal lost to Djokovic in 2013. So, and then that was it until Carlos here tonight. Yeah, I was a fan of Moya growing up. Used to always go Carlos Moya in like the computer games that you would get for tennis. I would always go Carlos Moya for some reason. Just like the swashbuckling style. Right, 30 love, non-returnable serve there from Carlos Alcaraz, 3-all. Down the tee, must have been close, it's been called a fault. Good second serve, deep into the body. But Jannik Sinner's power has got him back, and it's pretty neutral this rally. A couple of spinning backhands by Carlos Alcaraz, and Sinner goes up the line and catches the line. That's a bit of payback for the one from Carlos in the exact same position earlier on. Carlos nods his head in approval, thinking that's a good shot, mate. Yeah, Carlos liked that one. That one was hot, I think he's saying. .146 kilometres an hour, that winner from Sinner. .30.15, big point. I always say the 30.15 is a big point. Kind of 30-all, bit of pressure back on Carlos. Has to have that cushion. Good second, good first serve. Sorry, it was a late, the first one.
Such a good serve that, because Sinner is so good on this stretch. He's got long arms, cover the ground, but he hit that serve fast into the body. Sometimes harder to get the body out of the way.
Serving volley by Carlos. Closes out the game. 40-15. So we're now 41 minutes minus, the 11-minute setback. Where do we think this first set's going? Has it changed your mind pre-match? Who you thought might, take this one? Let me know in the comments.
Straight afterwards, you saw the reaction from Alcaraz, but a minute after that, when he was at his towel box, gave Sinner's camp a lot of approval. So it was a smile between them. And it sounded like classic show on the big screen again. So that's one of the thoughts.
See, I'm a paddle guy these days, John, so Gustavo Curtin getting a bit of applause from the crowd as the DJ plays his tracks. Can you buy paddle rackets for there? Okay, Jannik Sinner just approaching the service line. 3-4, first set. Yeah, Dave, I always think that. I always think when I go to a tie break, who's had the most trouble on their serve? And who would you say so far? There's not been a glimpse of a break point. Sinner, up until the medical timeout, or the medical break for somebody in the crowd, was it juice? Hasn't looked back since. And since then, it's been Carlos who's been on a bit of pressure on his serve, just in the very next game. Down the tee serve again. That's the old faithful for Jannik Sinner. Oh, there we go. They're just showing the stats at the moment. Four love and aces to Jannik Sinner. 68%, both of them on first serve points won. So they're, you can't separate these two, can you? 40 love. So Carlos in that first set last night against Felix, was it 13 winners and 2 unforced errors? 2 unforced errors. Not much. Not much Felix can do. Yeah, Brazy, I get it. Carlos hasn't served an ace, but I think it's because Jannik's so long in terms of his wingspan that he'll always get maybe just a racket to it, but might not be able to return it. Could give him the edge, or, you know, I always remember Medvedev talking about trying to change the ball toss and how it all discombobulated him. And that's a good word for a Scotsman to say. Jannik Sinner sees out the game 4-all. I think he hit the top of the net with that volley, but yeah, serving, we've seen both men serving volley. Carlos in a couple of stretches, just at the change of serve. Don't think it's anything to worry about for Alcaraz fans, but good level by both players. This is the match we wanted to see. Jannik Sinner went for a big shot there. He went for the one down the line, the forehand down the line from the juice court. Just found the, I mean, it's the highest part of the net, and he couldn't get it over. So 15 love. I mean, I think Sinner's tactic is play this return to Carlos's feet. I mean, Carlos has stood up to the task so far, but that's what I've noticed the last couple of serves. It is 15-all. Carlos could only find the net from a backhand.
The last point of Sinner's service game, Alcaraz just sort of shaking out his leg, I think. He's totally comfortable in between points.
I think the commentators here are picking up on the thing I said a couple of minutes ago about Carlos doing a wee bit of stretching. Just served his first ace. There we go, Dave. An impossible angle. How he's managed to get that, considering his size. I think both men thought it was wide, but it wasn't. Electric line calling here, of course. Oh, well won, Jannik Sinner. 30-all. He's starting to heat up a bit. Oof, that was actually a lot closer than I thought. Oh, lovely Carlos Alcaraz. Nothing wrong with that. Serve out wide. Good return by Jannik Sinner. Alcaraz just used the pace that came back to him and just redirected it back to where Jannik Sinner had just come from. Game point. Fault. Hits the top of the net from the first serve. Looked not too powerful, that first serve, though. I wonder if there's a quad issue. Nice again by Carlos. Now the players are rallying. Good forehand winner by Carlos Alcaraz. 2 winners to wrap up the game. Who would ever doubt Carlitos Alcaraz? I think he is talking to the umpire, asking for the physio, though. I think it's his hamstring he's feeling. Yeah, it's a hamstring. Eagle-eyed Tommy G spotted it about 10 minutes ago before Simple Tim Henman. I wonder if that stoppage, and listen, nothing can be done when it's a medical emergency in the crowd, but he's not been the same player, and I wonder if he just maybe didn't warm up.
Well, I'm trying to listen into the chair umpire and the physio, but it's honestly so loud down here that there's absolutely no chance. But the medical timeout is going to be taken, so they're going to take a 3-minute.
So the physio is working on Carlos Alcaraz's hamstring, his right hamstring. Jerry Armstrong, match referee's out as well. I think we're now seeing yeah, Ghost. It's just about warming up again, and there wasn't really much of a warm up. There was a couple of, zigzags on the court, but I wonder if it's pertinent just to get the guys in the bike again or something. So 2 minutes left in the medical timeout.
Yeah, and then when the physio came on, he sort of clenched his fist as if to say, the hamstring just grabbed.
He's doing that. Carlos is doing that to the physio, like, as if the hamstrings, clenched up.
Deep tissue massage, a bit of hot cream that will make sure it stays loose. Because we want to see these two go head to head when they're both 100% fit and healthy.
It was looking a bit touch and go at 30 all, wasn't it, in that game? But he managed to pull out 2 successive winners. Yeah, well done, young man. 2K.
I think he's travelled 2,000 kilometres to cheer for you, Carlos.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see when Carlos we've got 30 seconds of the medical timeout left. Interesting to see just by sometimes that can put your opponent off as well, remember. Fingers crossed, Carlos can see.
Too stressed on the court at any time, but even with that treatment going on, he still looks relaxed. Yeah. You wonder whether he will slightly alter his game plan, whether he'll look to try and shorten the points.
Sorry, I'm just listening I know you guys, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just trying to listen out to what the commentators are saying here on my stream. Yeah, the last time that the number one was on the line was Murray Djokovic 2016. Yeah. I mean, according to the media notes for this match, for the first time since 2016, world number one and world number two meet in the championship match of the NATO ATP Finals. Actually doesn't go into the world number one. Okay, here we go. World number one, Carlos Alcaraz leads the ATP Tour this year, 71 wins and titles, 8, and is on a 56-4 run since the start of April. 22-year-old Biz to become the first Spaniard to win the ATP final since Carecha defeat Moya in their all-Spanish final. God, it told me there. 5 years before Alcaraz born. Spaniard who clinched the ATP year number one presented with in 2025 for the second time in his career. Tends to become the first player since Andy Murray in 2016 to win 9 titles in a single season. So no, it doesn't actually wrap that up. Pretty comfortable game for Jannik Sinner so far. 3 game points, 3 big serves.
And then when you lunged out wide in the juice box, you've got to push off with your right leg to then get back to the middle, and that will be testing that hamstring.
So I just wonder. Commentators curse Dave. Sinner's looking great. He's going to double fault this, isn't he? Carlos moving quite well here, though. He's definitely in charge of this rally. And he wins the point. 40-15. Definitely looked all right there. I wonder if we're going to just get lights out tennis in terms of I just want to finish this rally early. Of course, he's got the Davis Cup to think about. Jannik Sinner doesn't. Him and Musetti have opted not to be there to defend next week, or in a couple of days actually. Defend the Italian Davis Cup trophy. (40-15), second serve. And he does double fault. Dave, that's why you never ever say things like that. 40-30. I mean, I just said, he's had a pretty comfortable service game, so I've done it myself, pal. Now he'll serve an ace down the tee. Did go for it. Carlos had covered it though. Is Berrettini fit for the Italians? Yeah. Just seen that Brazy's mentioned that. Oh, I think Carlos thought he was going down the tee. He went to the other side of him. An ace again. The crowd are getting into it. They can sense that maybe this is their man's chance to make it 10-6 in this rivalry. Get his first win over Carlos since Wimbledon. Carlos takes a deep breath. 5-all. And he now gets an ace. Good serving, pal. Goes for the serve volley. Yep, Sinner's got it twice and then goes for the lob, but it goes long.
Yeah, it's sort of funny for no man's land, but again, he shows such good technique and feel.
Yeah, that was a unique volley there by Carlos. Oh, he nearly went for another serve down the tee. That looked like a let, but the players are playing. It's a good couple of shots by Carlos. He's now in charge of this rally. He's come to the net again. Sinner went for it. Big risky shot. Again, tried to go down the line. Could only find the net. 40 love. Carlos looking fine. Alcaraz fans, get back from behind your couch. He's looking fine. Good return by Carlos on the second serve. Wrong foot's, by Jannik Sinner. Wrong foot's Carlos, and it's 40-15. Goes for the one down the line and wins it. So Carlos secures at least a tiebreak in this first set. 6-5 as the players sit down for the changeover. Okay, again, guys, what way is this set going then? 6-5, Carlos Alcaraz, Sinner serving great. Dave made the call. The person who's had the most pressure on their serve in the set usually loses the tie-break. It's hard to decipher. I'd say it's probably been an easier set on serve for Jannik Sinner, just. That's certainly changed in the last 10-15 minutes. However, I'm keen to know what you guys think.
Capable of on the serve and volley, and so you want to take that option away from him because the point just get away from you so quickly. But it's just the options that he has on his +1 shot, which is the most dangerous. If you're Sinner, you can try and pick a side, but then we've seen him go for the fast body serve as well, as Tim mentioned, so tough for them.
Of course, Jannik Sinner's last match of the year.
So essentially what I'm trying to say,
will that become a factor at any point? Making his third consecutive appearance at the ATP Finals. Carlos Alcaraz. Of course, lost in the round robin last year, Carlos. He lost to Casper Ruud, Zverev, and he beat Andrei Rublev. Much better effort at it this year. Made his debut in 2023, of course. So, will Carlos step up now? This is the pressure one. Just saw a glimpse of that. Is it Joe Salisbury's taking a break from tennis? Yeah, it has been pretty even hard. There's not really been any player that's been dominant. Both showed their flashes of brilliance. No. He's had his chances. He's been 2 sets up in finals, and his time has been and gone. So the players are rallying. A cutting backhand by Carlos. 2 great shots. Great backhand by Carlos. He's going to go up the line there. He does go up the line. He fist pumps 15-0 Carlos Alcaraz.
It's a well-constructed point. Used the slice deep, then drove the backhand again very deep, and then got the forehand from the middle of the court. Acceleration again. His head so still, but
167 kilometres an hour. Good serve by Sinner, though. Can only be block returned long by Carlos. 30-15.
it's nice variation on the serve. You said, Jonathan, it's gone out wide a lot in the key spots, and then that does open up the middle. Find the one out wide in the ad box.
Good return by Carlos in the second serve. Great. Oh, what a shot from downtown Carlos Alcaraz. So, just to talk you through that one, it was a second serve by Jannik Sinner. He tried a kick serve out wide. It was returned at the angle by Carlos Alcaraz, who then Sinner then had the whole court to pick from and was put away by Carlos. And Sinner serves an ace, 40-30. Sinner has saved every break point he's faced in this tournament. I mentioned the 7 against Alexander Zverev. Carlos goes for the drop shot. The first one we've seen today is a perfect drop shot. Just
Truly remarkable to how you can play for over an hour, with these pulsating ground strokes, and then turn to the deft touch, just like that. Yeah, and where he played it from, it's a long way back. He's on the baseline to have the feel of having hit a shot at 167 kilometres an hour, then play that at 50 kilometres an hour.
okay, the players are rallying. Carlos gets a first serve back, and he's got a great backhand. He's on the Sinner's on the defence. Good volley by Sinner. It's a drop volley, and Sinner. Oh, and Carlos gets it. He's apologised, but he's got the set point. Sinner just couldn't react quickly enough to what was going on in that point. It was hard to describe myself. It was a really good volley, wasn't it? Really good volley by Alcaraz, picked up by Jannik Sinner, but it can only be popped up, and Alcaraz just put it back at Sinner, and it was knocked away. Oh, we're on the second serve. Alcaraz has stepped in. He'd stepped in. The Italian crowd go wild. It's been a save break point, the first one of the night.
Second serve from Sinner to save set point. Yeah, it's a gutsy second serve. He knew that if he just kicked it in, Alcaraz was going to be onto it. And caught Alcaraz by surprise.
Yep. Commentators have mentioned that he caught Alcaraz by surprise because Alcaraz has stepped in. It's 116 miles an hour deep with a bit of kick on it. And Sinner puts that one away from the +1.
It's the 1-2 punch we so often talk about for lots of players.
What a good first set this has been. It's full of quality. Sometimes these matches fail to deliver, I've got to be honest. But this is certainly delivering. Good first serve. Not returned by Carlos Alcaraz, and we go to a tie-break. Yeah, it was Ghosty. You might have heard him. So the dogs come into the office room here and left the door open. And then the wee man's thought, right, okay, I can go in there. Luckily, he was retrieved. But I'm going to have to put him down at 7 o'clock my time, so that's in 35 minutes.
To sets is the 2023 final in this arena. But we do have first set time.
Okay, which way is this guy going to go, guys? Go on, make your predictions now. Carlos just stepped away from the first serve there. Oh, Carlos got away with one there. The return was played right at his feet. It was a looping forehand to the juice court. The ad court. Sinner had the whole court. Had plenty of time. And just didn't execute it properly.
Able to execute it, and just the crowd's reaction when Sinner does miss a shot.
Love one, Sinner. Carlos gets the ball back on the first serve. That one must have just made it over the net from Sinner, but the players are rallying forehand to forehand. It's gone long. No, it hasn't by Carlos, so they're still rallying. Surely Sinner's going to put this one away, and he does. 1-0.
Yeah, great depth. Alcaraz tried to play that forehand with shape, dropped it way short. Sinner just climbing all over that forehand. Both feet way off the ground.
Couple of winners in the 169 and 167 kilometres per hour category for Jannik Sinner there. Good second serve. Down the tee, on the stretch, Carlos can't get it back. Cannot separate these two. I mean, it says this set's an hour and 12 minutes long. Mine is 11 minutes from that for the medical timeout for the person in the crowd. We've still got an hour-long first set. It's going all the way to the wire.
He just knows that the kick serve's not going to be good enough.
Can Carlos hold his nerve now? Two sets. Sorry, he's got the next two serves. It would be Carlos's forehand. And as soon as I hit it, I just start, you know how like golfers walk puttings? As soon as I hit it, I'd just start walking to the till, say, see you later. He's going for the drop shot. It's too choreographed, too obvious. And Sinner can't put it away. Sinner cannot put that away. Wow. Is that a big moment? The Alcaraz drop shot was so choreographed. It was loopy. It was high. And Sinner, he knows it himself, tried to go back the other way. I think he just basically took his eye off the ball, just thought it's already done. Wow, big moment. Could be looking at a mini break there, but instead it's 2-0. Good shot. Oh, and Jannik Sinner does have the mini break. Backhand that just went wide by Carlos Alcaraz. He went back the way the serve had come from. So it's 3-2 with Sinner with the ball in hand. Yeah, it went wide. Just into the tram lines. Okay, Carlos Jannik with the advantage here. Tries to go down the tee. As I say, Old Faithful for Jannik Sinner. Watch how many times next time you watch a Jannik Sinner match, how many times he pulls that serve out. Why not? It's worked for him. So on second serve from Carlos standing way back. If you remember, he was standing so far in at break point. And it's 4-2. Hi, Jane. I think the Italian crowd can smell blood here. The old Sinner is okay. 4-2. It's just one mini break though. Down the tee again by Sinner. Carlos, good defence by Sinner's went for the drop shot and got it all wrong. There's the mini break back. It was a forehand drop shot. Got it all wrong.
I know he wants to bring that extra dimension to his game, but in the biggest moments, you've got to go with your strengths. And for me, that's driving the forehand through the court.
What's going on with the umpire? Just made an announcement. I don't know what it was. If anyone knows. But it's 3-4. We're back on serve in this tiebreak. Good for serve by Alcaraz. Good deep return by Sinner, mind you. We're playing backhand to backhand at the moment from the ad courts. Now Alcaraz pulls out that forehand I just spoke about and then goes for a drop shot. Sinner's there in time though. He's going for the lob. Alcaraz, the ball's in play. Alcaraz goes for the counter lob and Sinner puts away the smash. I suppose it was the right choice, the right shot choice by Carlos there. Well played, Jannik Sinner getting it back and playing that volley on while he was rushing to the net.
Alcaraz just gave it too much air, too much time for Sinner to move forward. Controlled the lob well.
Body serve, goes long. Sinner just has the mini break. Carlos knows that was a big point. He's fist pumping as if he'd won a game there. Okay, he's got 2 serves for this first set. Just needs to win 2 of these. So the wins both these serves and he wins the first set. What am I talking about? Can't find the. He went for the tee. Can't find it. Can't find the spot. Wow, I didn't know that, John. Sinner, good drive down the line, but Alcaraz is equal to it. Backhand by Alcaraz, forehand by Sinner. Backhand to the ad court, and Alcaraz goes for the ball. He's come to the net. He's now in low man's land. It's good lob, and Sinner gets to the other lob. 6-4, set point. Again, Carlos did all the right moves. He was dictating the rally, knew when to come in. But Jannik Sinner is no ordinary player. Probably the longest rally of the match. 2 set points. You know it's going to be a big serve. And he does win the first set with a serve out wide. Carlos Alcaraz cannot return it. And the ball goes long. And Jannik Sinner wins the first set 7-6. I'm just going to nip away to the gents and grab some water. And I'll be back for the second set, perhaps with a partner. Not a live partner, just a partner. See you in a minute.
Set of tennis, they came to the boil right at the end. As we can see.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
This was really the key, wasn't it? We'll track the ball just so you can see all the different maneuvers and positions.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jannik Sinner, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Oh shit, fucking hell. I'm back. Sorry. Just put a snooze in there. Brennan.
Tom, how are we doing?
Are we? I can only see half your face because
oh yeah,
YouTube side. But How are we doing? Have you been watching?
I have been. Good
Thoughts?
stuff. Good stuff. A little bit different, you know. It's weird to see.
What's different? What you?
I think just like getting to a tiebreak with, I guess, one break look is actually what we got, and it was a set point. But you know, they both kind of grew into the match. A few good exchanges, but good serving. Then we have Alcaraz taking the medical timeout. I don't think it's affected him too much.
No.
Have you seen anything?
No, I mean, it was about 4-all, and I think Alcaraz was serving for 5-4 in the first point. I just saw him stretching. I mentioned it in the commentary. Just said he's tweaking his leg there a bit. Something to keep an eye on, and then rightfully so. The next sit down, he got the medical timeout, and I think it was the hamstring. So I think whatever's happened, he did get one in between the first and second set there, didn't he?
I don't know. I was using a TV that wouldn't show. But anyway, 2 break points for Alcaraz.
Yeah, 2 break points for Carlos Alcaraz. I think there was no break points. No, there was 1 break point on the
set point.
Yeah. On the at 6-5 or 5-6. Okay, big moment because Carlos is a good front runner. How have you been anyway, Brenner?
Been good. I've been good, Tom. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, you too, mate. Life treating you well?
Yeah, for the most part. Can't complain. I'm busy, but I'm enjoying the grind.
Was that a good summer in the States?
That's right. And Alcaraz does get the break. Had a few balls land on the line in that. But
I must be just a tad behind you because we're still rallying at the moment.
Okay.
And
good.
You right enough? Yeah, just gone there.
All right, we'll align our video here.
Well, so it's I just hear there Sinner loses his serve for the first time this week. So there you go. He's pretty dominant in this arena, but he's lost his serve, and that's quieting down the Italian crowd. So what else has been happening? What have you been on the stream quite a bit?
I've been off and on, Tom. My schedule in the tennis world, it doesn't align as easily as it previously did, but
yeah,
you know, I find time. I make time.
Good, mate. Good.
Yeah. How are things with you? Good.
Yes, yeah, good, mate. Good. In a new job now. Doing
nice.
I'm still doing like sports journalism, and getting a wee bit more opportunity in that. But that's job 2. My main job, my day job, I'm doing content creation for a company in Glasgow. So yeah, it's good.
Hell yeah. Love to hear it.
Yeah, it's one of these ones like journalism. When I worked in the news sector, you couldn't really leave that at the 9 to 5. Like you were always kind of working it at night and at weekends. Like you couldn't really switch off. You were preparing for the next day. Whereas this job, you can kind of park it at 5 o'clock when you leave the office, and so it's for a better work-life balance, shall we say?
For sure, it's important with the family.
What's happening here then? You know, Sinner was questioning the umpire there about something. I'm not sure what.
Oh yeah. Also, yes, Alcaraz does have some wrapping on the thigh now.
Right. So that was applied during the end in between the first and second set. Carlos was a point down there, guys. He's managed to strong first serve, set up the +1, and he just knocked it into the ad court to put him away. I'd be interested that John had the stats up there again, but I'd be interested on the winner count. Surely Carlos is a wee bit ahead.
Okay.
Is that's been called in? Yeah, it has.
Yep.
Close call, 30-15, right on the line. Where does your flag lie then in the Carlos versus Jannik? Are you going to go out on a limb and say who's your boy?
Yeah, I think I already have before, so I'm not afraid to say it. But I am a Carlos junkie. We've had some conversations. I know you lean the same way.
Yeah, I do. And he's just put away Another winner.
Yeah. I don't know if they showed us the KPH there, but probably one of the bigger ones of the match.
167. Sinner had 169 in I think one of the final games of the first set.
Yeah.
But it's clear that Carlos clearly he's already wrapped up the number one. But this will be a big kind of statement win. I think he's taking this as seriously. There can be no doubts about that. Like, I think there was maybe questions. What's the momentum, or what's the what does he want to achieve? Like, but this will be because he has had these doubters on the indoor course, and to beat the best guy on indoor around would be a statement, I think, for going into next year. And then he's going to just have to get his eye on the Aussie Open. Oh, is that volley went in?
Yeah, I was going to say we were going to get into our little deuce battle there, but catches the edge of the line.
Let me put it to you, Brenna. Paddle. I've just taken up this sport in the last 4 weeks.
Is that so? Tell me.
And I'm wondering if this is something that you've played.
I haven't played it actually, but it is growing. It's growing in the States.
Yeah.
Even around my area, which I wouldn't say is a racket sport hub, but
I mean, the court's up my way.
Yep.
And you can imagine Glasgow is all football / soccer, and every time we go to the courts, there's only 3 courts, but like it's quite hard to get a time.
Yeah,
and
it's busy.
Yeah, and the courts are always like as soon as you finish at 4 o'clock. I was on 3 till 4 today. As soon as I finish at 4, there's people coming on. So
they're knocking on the cages.
It's that way. Like I get to like tennis is obviously very difficult to play. It's a difficult sport to get really good at, you know.
Yep.
And whereas paddle, like I've been playing with, I've played tennis before, whereas my pals haven't. But me and my mates are playing, and they're all getting into it. And I think that was our 5th game today, and you can see everybody improving.
That's fine.
So it's a kind of, we've got a good social aspect to it now.
100%. 100%. That's the. I think you hit it on, because it is so hard to play tennis just from a.
The key thing about paddle is so you'll get like a chance to smash the ball, or you'll maybe get one that's popped up and you can put it away, but you end up getting the pure rush of blood to the head, and you end up smacking it, thinking you've got a whole load of court to go, and you do not. You smack it into the glass wall. It's almost that kind of, don't leather this. Do not leather this. Take a bit off it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, like I'm obviously a little biased in terms of
tennis,
how I see it, but like I haven't really played it myself, and I haven't watched a lot of it, so it's not fair for me to.
I don't think top level tennis is in any kind of danger. Great drop shot by Jannik Sinner there. I don't think like in terms of like. I don't think I'd ever watch a paddle match, like a professional paddle match. The only thing I can see if it does, will it take away from the next generation getting into tennis, and they maybe they look at paddle as a more accessible sport, or maybe something that they don't have to do as much work, because it's obviously not as much physically straining. But I suppose the caveat to that would be, surely if a younger person took up paddle and was really good at it, somebody somewhere would go, why don't you try taking this onto the tennis court, because there's an actual career path there for you. You can become a professional tennis player, and they basically. So I think my point is, people are talking about paddle and pickleball and the impact it's having on tennis, and you've seen pros going into pickleball and paddle, but I just wonder if it's actually could be a kind of feeder into tennis, if you get my meaning.
Totally. I actually like that angle. Getting a racket in your hand is the first thing, and then no matter what type of racket that is, and then seeing what talent you got and going from there.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost asked the question: is the infrastructure of paddle cost prohibitive? The way I'd answer to that is, so I ended up buying a racket after playing twice, because I was just like, I pure love this. Yeah. So I ended up buying a racket, and the racket cost me about £100 sterling. So yes, if you want to pay the money, but the club that we go to, like I say, it's got 3 paddle courts, and there is paddles and balls there when you get there. So for anyone turning up and going, oh, but I don't have a racket, don't worry about it. There's a racket there for you. Now, the rackets aren't great, and that's why I ended up buying one, because everyone's going up there and using the racket, and it's getting a bit of wear and tear on it.
Of course.
But I think in terms of accessibility, certainly for the players that I play, you've got, all you have to do is pay. I mean, ours is somebody was saying there $25 an hour. Ours is £30 sterling an hour, and if you're splitting that between 4 people, it's not a lot of money at all. Yes, paddle is a gateway drug, precisely, Ghost. Paddle is the cannabis of the tennis world.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to get out there, though. It is fun. Good camaraderie.
Yeah. We're having some laugh today. I tried some weird shot, because I was right in between the glass, and I didn't have enough time, room to swing. So I'm like this, literally the paddle man, try to hit it like that. But anyway, we'll get back to the tennis. It's 2-1. It's love 15 on the Alcaraz serve.
Yeah, Ghosty brought it up too in terms of the drop shot. It took it, I think, until the final game for Alcaraz to use it. Yeah, it was.
He used it well, though. It was pinpoint accurate. It was.
Yes, you know what I'm talking. Yeah, and he hadn't used it previously, and now, since then, they both used it, both effectively and ineffectively. But I feel like they're loosening up a bit. Obviously, the early break helps.
Let me ask you.
Yep.
Obviously, I understand the science behind why Carlos might use, say, a drop shot on the clay courts of France more than he would on a hard court. I get it, right? But talking about the indoor courts and how, they're different to the outdoor indoor courts, and you'll know this from your tennis background, then is it harder to, is the ball going to bounce more on an indoor hard court than it would in an outdoor?
Well, it kind of depends in this case. The way I evaluate conditions, obviously, is I think the balls actually make a big difference too. Here, these are Dunlop balls, and you're at altitude, so the ball's flying through the air quicker. In terms of I think true bounce via a drop shot is more about the chalkiness to the court, or kind of the smoothness.
Yeah,
so smoother, it will bounce lower, which would therefore mean it wouldn't show up as much, is how I'm thinking. So courts like Cincinnati, here is I'd say medium fast, low bouncing, yeah. So
because I mean, when he first burst on the scene, Carlos's whole niche was really play these powerful ground strokes, push his opponent back, and then hit him with the drop shot when he's so far back that there's only maybe Minaur might be able to make it back, but not many can.
Exactly.
There's Dave explaining a little bit for us as well. Dave's saying the drop shots are harder if the ball is coming at you fast. You need a slower ball inside the court to hit a consistent drop shot. Yeah, I suppose it does matter about your opponent. Oh, Carlos. Sinner had stopped running, and Carlos could have just couldn't get over the net. He just had to put it into the court, and he was winning that point.
Interesting. I'm reading these comments here.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's a good discussion. It's what this fucking tennis stream is about.
It is. And in terms of Super Dave's comments, what I think about the balls is just kind of the way, some of these balls fluff up. This one, not so much. But after, 4 or 5 games, these things are big, they get bigger. And so that's what I mean in terms of I guess just the way it affects it. And obviously, when you're talking about people who hit different types of drop shots, but Carlos is just heavy on the spin, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to
I always wonder that though, when a player, picks a ball that they're going to serve with, if they maybe hit a good shot with a serve, they always want that ball back. But I've always wondered if maybe there's a more, raggedy ball is probably the best way to describe it. Maybe one that's got a bit more wear on it. If Carlos maybe picks and goes, I'm going to pick this one because in about 3 or 4 shots time into this rally, I'm going to drop shot, and the ball won't bounce as much because it's older. Do you know what I mean? Because if it's older, it's softer. I mean, just to go on Dave's point, surely, and again, I'm not saying this from any kind of, I'm saying this from a logistical thinking background. Like I've not looked into the science of this, but surely if the ball is older, it's softer, which means when it's bouncing off the surface, it's compressing and then not pinging back up as quickly. Now, that's not the most professional way to describe that, but I think you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point. The only thing, like, it's such a good concept that no one talks about, too. The only person I ever really heard anything from was Andy Murray, who said he would find the freshest ball for his first serve, and the second serve was the most chewed up ball. He wanted a dead ball. And I think Yep.
So I was just going to ask, I suppose the thinking behind that is like the most messed up ball is it's not going to bounce the same way. So like his opponent, because these professionals are already thinking where this ball is going to come out of the ground, and maybe if it's a lesser ball, it's not going to bounce back up the same way, and it could, to use the word discombobulate for the second time in this stream, it could discombobulate the rhythm, if you get what I mean. Because these players are already swinging for the ball. By the time the ball's leaving the racket up the serve, these players are already swinging because they know because they're playing against. If we were playing, I've always thought this: if you're playing against a lesser player who can't hit the ball hard, it wouldn't be difficult for professionals, but they wouldn't be getting the ball back as quickly, so that like they're going to have to change their way of playing. If you get what I mean,
right? Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Like I know it's in paddle, like, you know, one guy had never played before and three of us had already played, and so we just all started playing it to him, and like he's serving and the serves are rotten, so you know you're getting time on the ball. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Anyway, we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. What else is happening? Who was it that used to sniff the balls before serving? Don't know if I should have read that out. Was that like in the locker room or?
No, that I think it means someone grabs the three balls, looks at them. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Like, I'm curious how long we'll stay in kind of cruise control mode if Carlos can, just keep holding out here and we find ourselves in a decider. I'm curious if the hamstring is going to be bothersome at all. Jannik's perfect drop shot, he tracked down, didn't end up going for a sliding attempt. It's the only thing I've really picked up on.
I think if we can get to 5-4, 5-3 on the serve, 5-3, 5-4, it'll be. I think you'll see it out, but I think it's these next couple of service games that'll be the big ones. And he just serves an ace. I mentioned it as well. I've mentioned it a couple of times, and again, I think it's pertinent to say, like, Carlos is playing the Davis Cup, so right now he's in the lineup. Jannik Sinner isn't. So this is his last match of the year. So if it does go to 3, Jannik can just go, do you know what? I'm going to have a couple of months. Well, I'm going to have a few weeks off here. I'm going to have December off before I start getting back into it. So let's just go for it. Do you know what I mean? Let's take it to the wire.
Yep. And I was thinking about that too, Tom. I'm curious how late, I guess,
what Carlos could potentially
can make a dip. Yeah, because I'm thinking about.
I think Carlos wants to. I think Carlos has got that much drive for like getting these milestones in his career that I think there's a drive inside him that wants to be on that Davis Cup win. Like, I know he's contributed to getting Spain there, but like, I think he wants to be part of the team that wins out. I think he wants to win a point for his team and say, I've won the Davis Cup. I think there's that drive. I think if Spain go and win it and he's not the team, I don't think he'll. It's that way, again, to take it back to football. If you're a substitute in a cup final and you don't get on the pitch, you celebrate your teammates, but you're thinking, I didn't actually do anything to win this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Here we are at 30 all. I have one more. I have some more thoughts about the Davis Cup situation.
Okay. Well, let's go through these points till the end of this game, and then we can look at them. I'll take us through this one. Crowd getting back into this match after going quiet a little bit after Carlos had broken the first Sinner service game of this one. The first time he's been broken this whole tournament, this whole event this week. Wild first serve there by Carlos. Wasn't in or out. So Jannik Sinner still hugging the baseline, not coming in at all. Slow serve, obviously. Carlos goes long with the +1. Now is he starting to feel the hamstring? It's not the same Carlos as the start of this second set.
Yeah, I noticed it, especially on the footwork on that volley. Wasn't that good. And then here it's kind of just set up and go big, forehand down the line. Missed it by a lot.
I can't disagree, Ghost. That's a good point. It has been said before. Good serve. Is that going to drop in? It is going to drop in. And that gives Sinner the advantage. He's on the attack. He's going for the drop shot. It's played well, and he wins the point. He does apologise to Carlos for having a complete mishit that dropped in, but he gets the break back, and we are back on serve 3-all. And Sinner will serve.
That's
4-3.
crazy. Obviously unfortunate, but that's crazy. And it was a very similar pattern, if you remember, against Zverev. Just his ability.
Oh, he's double-headed it.
Yeah. It's good as long as it's one motion.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Fair dinkum. I did not know that.
Yep. And a beautiful drop shot.
You learn something every day on this tennis stream. Right, quickly back to Davis Cup.
Oh, yeah. Because anyway, like when I saw him getting the massage at 5-all or just 4-3-4 or something, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, what happens if he can't play next week? And it's like, is Fokina on vacation right now?
Yeah. They'll have contingencies for this. I don't think. I think they'll be talking in the Spanish camp, and Carlos will say, "Listen, I'm going to give him all these ATP finals. Do not go on holiday."
Right.
But yeah, it's a good point you make, because I take it he's the next alternate, or is he?
Well, he's actually a hot name in terms of that conversation because he was pissed that Ferrer didn't select him.
Yeah. Okay.
That happened about a month ago, and I remember there's more relevant kind of history to that, but a guy who gets inside the top 15 and he's not getting selected is tough.
Just on the double hit point, Ghost made the same point as me as a double hit, and then saying that's USTA rules. Is that also ATP? So I'm assuming it must be, because it was. I mean, unless it wasn't, and then it's up to Carlos to challenge that for a review.
Right, that's an interesting challenge too, because
he can't. How can he see that?
Yeah, and when do you have to stop the point right away?
Yeah.
I mean, just an insane situation there.
Could be controversial.
Yeah. Thought he saves a break point, and instead it's
with a miss hit that lands in.
Yeah, with side spin and everything. Yeah, and Sinner's done well here to
bring this back.
Yeah,
I'm going to just at the end of this game when they do the changeover, Brenner. I did flag to John, but I'm just going to quickly. I need to put my young son down to his bed at 7 p.m.
Of course,
but I will be back to finish off this match with you if it does go 3.
Of course.
Which it could well do, because Alcaraz has just put a second serve down the line for a backhand winner. So I'll see out this game. Remember, guys, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. Sinner loves that tee serve, doesn't he? He just always goes to it.
Loves it. Wow. A good sort of crush and rush there from Alcaraz going the back door.
He's got the break point, yep. But that's what he did. I don't know if you saw, he had a set point at 6-5 in the first set. He stepped in and Sinner hit this almighty slow kick serve, and it totally the ball was pretty much just at his thigh when he's trying to hit it, Alcaraz, and he couldn't get it back. So Good second set, good competitive second set here. The guys are trading blows. He went for the tee serve again. I'm never going to stop saying that. Every big point, he goes for that tee serve.
It's the wide one so well, too.
This one's a body one. Players are rallying. Backhand to backhand at the moment. Alcaraz looks to have the impetus on. Did he go long there? He did go long there.
Yeah, a little bit more attacking style. Last few points. Any sort of neutral ball. That time, instead of forehand, follow it.
Unforced errors.
Yep.
10 in each set from Alcaraz. You'll be asked about the hamstring in the post-match.
For sure.
So we've got a second serve again. Juice. Slowly spinny second serve that Alcaraz is on top of. But the players are pretty neutral. That was a loopy. That one also very close to being out by Sinner. Players are still rallying. Forehand by Sinner. That one, again, deep. He's catching the line here. Carlos. That's a loopy forehand by Sinner. Forehand cross-court by Sinner. Down the line by Alcaraz. This is probably the longest rally of the match. Now it's Alcaraz who goes deep, and he can only find the net on the one after it. And Sinner is getting the crowd up. He knows he's under pressure here.
Very, very impressive point. Good stuff on both ends. Something we haven't seen a lot of is the slice today. I think that's just due to the conditions, like indoor hardcourt. I feel like Carlos has tried to use it almost as a reset button, but hasn't engaged much. Whereas you see players, sometimes try and use that against Sinner.
Yeah.
Not much success.
Nah. So this game 5 minutes old. Probably one of the longer of the matches, but it's game point for Jannik Sinner. Tried to go wide. Didn't get it, so we're now on second serve. Again, Alcaraz stands way back in the baseline.
I mean, that's just stunning. It's just stunning. I was going to mention it too. Like, even in that extended rally, I mean, Carlos seems to be moving well.
He does.
Both ways, but
here in Jannik Sinner's down at about 50% on first serves in this set. Of course, the serving in the first set was just so good that Carlos couldn't find a way. Nobody could find a break point apart from the set point right at the end. Aaron Cahill trying to get his man up. So we're back to Juice. This will be the longest game of the match, as I said.
Yeah.
Good serve by Sinner. Alcaraz thinks he should have got that one back. Sinner definitely looking animated. Hi, Jake, mate. How are we doing? You're going to be gutted, mate. I'm about to jump off for a wee bit just to get my son down for the night.
Percentage of drop below 50%. Sometimes been up in the 80s this tournament. Hasn't found.
So he's got game point again, Jannik Sinner.
This second set, still getting point for 4-3.
Gets the first serve in this time. Carlos goes for the one down the line. He makes it. Does he make it? No, he doesn't make it. It goes wide just. And Jannik Sinner, that was a big, big hold. Wonder if that one's going to be, one of those ones that Sinner now breaks in the next game and then serves it out. Hope not. Anyway, I will be back. I don't have a time frame of how long. The wee man can sometimes be a bit nippy when I try and put him to bed. So I'll be back as soon as I can, my man. All right.
Cheers, Sam. Appreciate you.
See you in a bit.
So, seems like we've got some good Davis Cup content in the chat. I'm going to look into more of the Davidovich Fokina situation because I remember during that time there were conversations being had, but ultimately, you have ADF getting to his career high, obviously wanting to be a part of that squad. I think back to the matches in Denmark, and it was Minaur, PCB, and Pedro Martinez, who has done nothing since winning that match over Holger Rune, which is just madness, and it's the reason why they're here, and it's the reason why Carlos Alcaraz has the opportunity to compete next week. Hopefully, he does feel good enough to compete next week, regardless of the result today. But definitely in for one now. Did hold that early break in the second. And Sinner was able to break back and then achieved a 7.5 minute hold here. See how much momentum he can grab. And Carlos, the best way to nullify that would get a quick hold. So Alcaraz to serve at 3-4 in the second. That time exchanging backhand blows. And Alcaraz wins that matchup. Very, very fun to watch. I mean, these guys hitting backhands, especially their movement out of the backhand wing, is just so exciting to watch. When I tell people about Sinner, it's just like he has two forehands. His ability to go up the line with ease. I think that's just like such a game changer in this sport. Wow. And Alcaraz there got a shorter backhand and ended up hitting it with heavy angle and spin. Super short in the court. I don't know if it crossed. I don't even know if it got to that service line. I'm going to go with that's not true, but and there Sinner looks for a huge backhand down the line, misses it by a ball or two, and we're quickly at 40 love. So exactly what I talk about. If you're Alcaraz, keep just applying the pressure. I feel like he's grown into the match a lot more in the second set. Hit a little bit more freely, being a little bit more aggressive here. We see the serve and volley, casual put away. And that's about a 60, 70 second hold. So good job from Alcaraz. The crowd is definitely going to do their job in terms of pushing Sinner along. Thanks, everyone, for being active in the chat. If you're new, please do subscribe. And we are now underway here for all. Good exchange. Carlos misses a volley, expressing frustration, probably knowing that he should have put the point away, should have anticipated. This is a real monologue now to the Alcaraz camp. Seriously expressing the frustration. Yeah, Super Dave, that backhand volley, definitely difficult out of the strike zone, but with Alcaraz, you think anything's attainable with his caliber of hands. So 15 love. That time gets the kicker, tries to hit the backhand down the line, gets the top of the net. Frustration, of course. And Marcus, another great point. Everyone in the chat bringing up awesome points that I'd love to talk about more, elaborate on. Billie Jean King Cup, ATP Finals, Davis Cup, really all of the above. Love having these conversations because I do, in a sense, agree with you, Marcus. But the deal is the deal. it just feels fitting. And yet, to Ghostie's point, I mean, it's just like a different atmosphere, of course. Yes, neutral setting, but you do get the authentic fans and kind of that real experience. We're still not kind of aware of how, the real tournaments will go in Saudi, even thinking about the Middle East in general, and just kind of like the limited fans we see at some of these tournaments, whether it's in Doha, Dubai, these side courts are empty. Marcus Rashford should definitely be above me. He has had quite a career. But it's Sinner who does hold to love and holds the upper hand now as one of my favorite things. I'm coined for taking care of business and scoreboard pressure here on Talking Tennis. So let's see how big of a factor is. You got the crowd, you got the scoreboard pressure, you got the moment. Alcaraz frustrated after that volley he missed to start that 4-all game. But yep, as Super Dave says, just tons of pressure, and you understand how kind of freely it is on the other end, and it makes you overthink. The nerves creep in. And you have the crowd going crazy for Sinner. Yes, it's tough. It's definitely tough, Marcus. This is what I think about, right? We had Jannik Sinner, who will definitely be here the next 4 years. I think this contract ends in 2030 in Turin. So, yeah, you think about it. Musetti was just such a big deal for him to make it. You saw how much it meant to him and how much the crowd, the atmosphere, the environment, the moment meant to him, and it ultimately elevated him. And like, as a fan, I'm not mad. That was a lot of fun to watch that comeback from Musetti. And if it's not in Turin, doesn't have that support, who knows what happens. So I guess there's different ways to look at it. But here we are, 2-hour mark, and it is Alcaraz who will be serving to stay in the match at 4-5. It looked like a wild serve, but it did catch the line, and then Sinner's return, destined for the baseline, just misses. So 15-love. My stream showing you a little replay of that shank return where Sinner was able to break back, and Alcaraz brushing it off with a smile. But, who knows? We could be looking at the start of the second set, or the third set, rather, as opposed to Carlos serving to stay in the match. It's that backhand that goes long. Quick exchange as well. Yeah, another way to look at it, Super Dave, in terms of, yes, you finish year end 1, but now you're playing year end 2. 1-7 over your last 8 matches with him. 7-1, rather. Second serve here, 15-all. Huge second serve. Gets the opportunity to explode. Inside-out forehand is good enough. I mean, talk about Alcaraz under pressure there. Goes big on the second. Gets a middle ball that some are hitting a little bit more casually and working their way through the point. There, you saw the opportunity to be aggressive. Hit a huge inside-out forehand that tails away. And there, it's the body serve at 30-15. return into the net. So 40-15, a little bit of chance to breathe here. I think the body serve has been huge today for Alcaraz. Just his ability to kind of handcuff Sinner, even on these second serves where you like to see Sinner, especially on the ad side, creep in, try and go with that jumping backhand or, kind of fight off the forehand. He's gotten a lot of success out of it, but there it is. So just when you thought, could have some nerves creeping in at 15-all. Quick 3 points for Alcaraz, and we are back on serve 5-all. Yeah, Josie, I don't know. It's inevitable at this point, and I don't really overthink it. But once again, like, you have these players that get chances, and that's the only reason why I'd push back on you. Yes, we can point out to the close sets, but for me, 2 numbers stick out. Alcaraz Fritz. Fritz 1 of 9 on break point. And if I think back correctly, I think about there were a few big points in that Wimbledon match. Where I think Fritz was either a little bit tentative and should have gone for it. Yeah, that's what it was. And it's those moments. Here we are. Good exchange at love 15. Carlos thought about coming to the net. Retreats. Now it's a backhand. Oh, it's very difficult there. Once again, Carlos talking to his box. He hit a forehand there. Thought he was going to join the net. Retreated, and then the next 2 balls were very well dealt with from Sinner. Just able to put Alcaraz under enough duress there as he was retreating to that backhand corner. But to add on to that, the other number that sticks out is Zverev, 0 of 7 on break points. I mean, against Sinner. It's just ridiculous. So I'll be that guy and say, like, there are chances for players this week. Here we go. Sinner has Alcaraz pinned in this backhand corner. Here comes Alcaraz to the net. Beautiful looking pass. And Sinner gets up to it to hit a sliding backhand put away. I mean, that's when I talk about Sinner having 2 forehands. Carlos has been a little bit net rush happy, but anytime he gets elevation on this kind of neutral ball, he's looking to create angle or he's going big and being aggressive. But man, what a point. Yeah, Super Dave, I mean, I don't know who's the right selection. I guess the Sinner backhand got underneath that net enough where it was too difficult to play that straight on volley, but it was actually pretty good from Carlos given what he was trying to do. It took pretty much every ounce of effort for Jannik to get up to that ball. So 30-15 Sinner. Second serve, Alcaraz creeping in. Kind of just slaps his backhand centrally. Tries to use a slice. Clips the top of the net. Looks at his team in disgust. Difficult because it feels like Alcaraz has not necessarily found something, but felt like he's been the one who can be on top of these points, and he's lost a lot of them despite feeling on top of them or being the one to dictate, to be the aggressive one. Losing a lot of points at the net, just not very characteristic. Super Dave, I agree with that. I think the slice to the Sinner forehand, because he hits with a lot of like wrist motion. So you see that forehand, like it sits up a bit, and Carlos just has a little bit Here comes Carlos again, backhand net rush. It's a decent volley, not good enough, and an easy pass for Sinner. And once again, Alcaraz looking at the camp in disgust. He's saying this doesn't happen often, but it's really just pure class on the other end of the net. So another scoreboard pressure situation coming up. But yeah, I just think Sinner like lifts that forehand a bit more, and it allows Carlos to have an upper hand if it does have some height on that forehand wing and it sits up. But that time there, it's just like another kind of quick rush from Carlos. He essentially just deflects pace, absorbs pace, whatever you want to say. Deflects the pace from the huge forehand. Sinner flattened that one out and just deflects it cross court with his backhand and says, I'll join it. And yeah, I mean, just it's just, like I said, it's just Sinner has two forehands. So his ability to slide and turn that defense into offense, make it a difficult volley for Carlos. Had time to retreat back to the forehand, and it's just a whip cross court. Small window, but makes it look easy. Exactly. And I feel like Carlos is someone who makes it so difficult, especially if someone does hit to, the backhand wing. He hits that defensive slice that just kind of lands right underneath that net cord and makes it such a difficult volley because you have to just lift up. It gives him time to recover and make the put away. Anyone want to drop any predictions? What happens here? Does Sinner break? Do we go to a tie break? Are we going to a third set? I'll give everyone their last chance to make a prediction. As it's going to be second serve here for Alcaraz. Alcaraz just so much success with that pattern. And that time it's a laughing fist bump to his camp. And you just had to admire that. I think it's such a cool part about the sport. I mean, we're looking at two guys who have such supportive and big rosters, right? So it is different. But there, once again, a body serve where Sinner decides to go and choose backhand. And Alcaraz is able to go back behind with ease. That time, serve and volley, and it was almost an insane pickup. Missed it on the short side. I mean, Sinner returned that with vengeance, as they say. $15 big first serve. Sinner essentially trying to do what he did on that previous point on the return on the ad side. This time he got a forehand on the deuce side, tried to clobber it cross court for a winner. Miss hit. Very body-esque serving from Alcaraz. Very interesting decision here as he hits a kind of running drop shot. Very interesting decision making there. Almost a bit too loose. Drop shot has not had a lot of success today for Alcaraz. Don't think he's hit it confidently, almost force. And if you were on the stream earlier, you heard me say, I mean, it was the first time he used it. It was at 5-6, 40-30. That time Sinner put it, short court on the forehand wing and had Alcaraz kind of in the middle of that doubles alley hitting a cross-court drop shot. It just didn't have much on it. 30-all first serve wide, goes for the slider. So let's see how big Alcaraz goes here. Medium, kind of got that same pattern. Good return from Sinner. Now we're into it. Alcaraz backhand down the line, explodes on a forehand cross. Now has a ball sitting up, goes forehand down the line for a winner. Biggest point of the match, and Carlos brings out one of the better patterns of play there. Good enough return from Sinner where he cut off the back behind. That time, Carlos able to go backhand down the line, got a forehand that set up, and just exploded 163 kilometers per hour. That time, it's a beautiful return from Sinner. He was sitting on the kicker wide, took it late, and hits a beauty just inside that line. And all Alcaraz can do is watch. So 40 all here. Alcaraz hasn't gone tee in quite a bit. Let's see if he does try and switch it up here. No, goes big to the body, misses long. Let's see if the same generic body serve on the second. It was, and it was a pretty good one. That time he does go back behind Sinner, and now he's going backhand, and he's joining the net. And it's a volley into the net. Once again, just one, not the ball you want to come in on. Two, very early in the rally. It's just a little uncharacteristic. Yes, we do see Alcaraz taking chance, being the one to be the aggressor in the tight moments. But that time, really nothing to attack there. Hit a good backhand, but Sinner sitting on that side anyway. So here it is. Championship point has arrived. Sinner pointing out, I think there's a light in his face, so he wants that shut off. Here it is. Sinner, middle return. Carlos dancing around the backhand, hit a forehand cross court. Exchanging forehands here. Middle of the court forehand. And Carlos tries to go backhand cross court, but misses it wide. Sinner falls to the floor. And he is the ATP Finals champion in Turin. 2025 caps off a great season for both these guys. Obviously sharing the last 8 major titles. And it's Sinner who is an ATP Finals champion yet again. Go ahead, guys. Flood the comments. Tell us your thoughts. I'm more interested in the Alcaraz decision-making towards the end of this match. Just various net rushes that didn't have a lot of rhyme or reason behind them. And who knows if the hamstring had anything to do with that.
Do you think it might have done, Brenner?
I think it might have. Definitely uncharacteristic in my eyes, but
agree.
Everything just felt rushed. And
Yeah.
like he didn't necessarily come off that way, especially in his mood. I mean, he was still ripping it.
Oh yeah, I didn't really see any difference in the movement, but I didn't consider the hamstring when I was watching him, and I'm thinking, don't come into the net, don't come into the net. Sometimes from slightly advantageous, he's slightly up in the rally, and he's like a couple of points in that last game, and I'm thinking there were other times when it felt kind of natural to come into the net, and it did make sense, albeit because of Sinner's prowess, every way, shape, or form, cross court, passes, etc., lobs as well, that you would have thought that even though the temptation would have been there, that he would have held back just because of how the match was going. But listen,
Jannik comes back from a breakdown. He also had one champ. Did he have one championship point come and go, or did he win it on the first championship point?
Won it on the first.
Yep. Won it on the first. I remember thinking, I think at 30 all actually, thinking, well, Alcaraz has saved some championship points already this year in mega scenarios, but he wasn't able to do it today, of course.
Yeah, I thought it got more fun throughout the match, and yeah, for Alcaraz, I don't know, it just looked, I don't know, maybe routine in a sense, and maybe he was just going about it. But yeah, just like a little bit of an odd finish. But hey, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I just really wanted a third set. I guess I think many of us neutrals were seeking that. And when he goes up a break in that set and gets broken back pretty quickly, I think he might have consolidated the break before getting broken at 3-2, wasn't it? So, yeah. And the way he'd been serving, of course, he didn't face a break point until, and Jannik got a bit lucky, didn't he? I think it was on the break point he got lucky, wasn't it? When there was a good body. If I said to Alcaraz, there's a couple of things I want to say with Alcaraz today. There was a couple of times I was like body serving, and that was one of them. And he did. I mean, Jannik did really well to react pretty quickly to get his racket on it. But I actually thought the point was done. I was only when I was like, the ball landed in.
Yes, I could tell by the body language of Alcaraz that it was tailing back in.
Right. So that was one thing. There was another thing about the Alcaraz return position today, which I think he bailed out a bit too soon on the aggressive second serve return position. Why? Because Jannik was doing great on that, and he was getting some unreturns because Jannik was going big on the second serve, and then so Alcaraz decided, you know what, that's happened 2 or 3 times now. But then Jannik knows that as well. He can now see him, 5 meters behind the baseline. So suddenly those second serves are much tamer again from Jannik. And I was thinking, you know what? Don't blink yet, Carlos. Stick to your gun. Stick close to the baseline, or even inside the baseline, or close to it on those second serves. But he kind of, because of what had happened on those, but I'm like, that doesn't bother me because I just know the guy's going to double fault a lot. And I'm going to do okay with reactions sometimes. He's going to miss his spots on occasion. But he did then in the second set at one point go, you know what, I'm just going to get way behind even on the second serves. And I wasn't disappointed. Sometimes you see someone mega aggressive on the second serve and then messing up every time. Well, yeah, some players, but not Carlos against Jannik. I was okay with that. But anyway.
Yep. No, I agree. And I thought Alcaraz serving, I thought he got a lot of success out of the body serve. Might have overused it a tad come the second set. I didn't feel like he went T enough on the A2 side. And then another thing that I'm just saying this out of pure thinking back about the match, no numbers involved. It feels like it wasn't as successful of a day at the net for Alcaraz as he's used to, but obviously against Sinner, it's just different.
I think it's Sinner. I think, his volleys today weren't as effective, but as I think Dave said in the chat, when they're coming at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour, low over the net, that's a bit different to a Ben Shelton or Felix Auger-Aliassime or I don't know who else, Minaur return of serve. It's not quite as demonic as Jannik's.
And he also got lobbed twice.
Yeah.
You don't see it often. So yeah, and I'm thinking about just sporadic net rushing, just very uncharacteristic. You don't see many players even do it.
Points in it though, Brenner. Still just a couple of points,
Yeah, exactly. And so I actually yes, we won't see them play for a little while now. So
it's going to be at least, you would think, end of January, and that's obviously if both of them make the final, which seems likely at the moment, but a long
next opportunity. But
I haven't seen any stats from the match. Normally I just rely on the TV because they pop up pretty quickly afterwards.
Yeah,
I was wondering if there was any sort of glaring, serves like 80% ins or 52% one, if you like.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, do that. I'm just gonna have a quick look to see if anything else is happening interesting on Twitter, and then we'll bring this to a close. Jannik fell to the floor. You could see that obviously meant a lot to him, obviously in his home country and retaining the title without dropping a set. certainly for another show, Brenner. But you know, the chasm between the top 2 players in the world and the rest, it seems to be widening. Just as we keep asking for it to close, it seems to be getting wider.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's really no arguing that. The only thing I had to say to some of the comments we saw, or that I read today, is like, yes, I mean, it's almost inevitable at this point, and I'm not mad about it. Right, these two are going to meet. It is a little boring depending on how they get here, but I just point out, like, there's these matches, for example, Alcaraz Fritz, where Fritz, yeah, he created 9 break points and like arguably can take the match. You know what I mean? It's
Zverev created 7, didn't take any of them,
and that was the other match I pointed out. You know, over 7, and he arguably should have won the match in straight sets. It's like, yeah, yes, it would have been more interesting, and of course, crazy storylines, but we don't get them in the end, and it's, you know, the same story. Which, depending on,
you still think that even if Zverev takes one of those, so I'm still backing Sinner to win that one way, shape, or form.
Probably. The break points did come at, you know, different times, but yeah, you know, maybe Zverev takes the first set or something like that.
Yeah. Anything from the stats that we should be aware of?
I mean, it was fairly low first serve percentage as we saw in that second set. I think that's where for Sinner, 55% first serves.
That is low.
Yeah, I think it was second set, like heavy pour. Let's see, actually. Yeah, 47% in the second set.
Wow. Okay. I mean, obviously, Alcaraz got a break in that set.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, Jannik Sinner is the only player since 1990 to win this tournament without dropping a set. I didn't know that.
Wow.
He did it last year, and he's done it again this year. So, of course, that is 20 consecutive sets. If I was an Opta Twitter account, a person, I'd be writing like #dominance or something at the end of that. Of course, he was trying to become, I think, the first person ever to win the title without even dropping his serve, but he did drop his serve today on one occasion, of course, in that second set. And yeah, Alcaraz might have 1 or 2 regrets, but listen, it's just one. And Alcaraz, by the way, still served very well, and I think that's something that Alcaraz can take away from this year as a whole. There were comments on the eve of the Australian Open and even during the Australian Open about him improving his serve, but they went away pretty quickly because he lost to Djokovic. But I think we saw it at various other stages throughout the year of and in fact, just today, and it could be the conditions, I think it made the match a little bit, just a few percent less interesting, because Alcaraz is serving so much better. That dynamic in terms of the lengthy rallies and crazy shots that they can both produce as they chase shots down that mere mortals like you and I could never even dream of doing. I think it does sort of change things a little bit. But anyway, all right, listen, I think we can give that a wrap, because we'll have ATP Weekly coming up in just over an hour with Vanch and Mert. But yeah, big thanks, Brenner, for taking care of business, as you often do in that second set.
Happy to do it. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
And taking care of business is exactly what Jannik Sinner ultimately did today, winning the match 7-6, 7-5. To everybody, thank you for joining. There's been a good, healthy watch along today with plenty of people, and we'll see you all on the other side for ATP Weekly shortly. But for everybody else, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.